Hello, I'm Dr. Tom, and I'd like to welcome you to another Friday update. And what a spectacular and unprecedented week it has been since we last spoke. An Arctic blast, if you will, has covered much of the country, and with rather devastating effects in the southern half of this country. And people often say, talking about the weather is small talk and it's menial. And oftentimes that's true. Sometimes it's a conversation starter. Sometimes it's just a way to break the ice with a new conversation or to get a call started. Yet the reality of this one is quite different, because we're talking about unprecedented temperatures coming through much of the country. And here in Arkansas, where I'm filming today, we've had record cold. It's been 20 below here. Now, in my 60 plus years, I've never heard of or seen those kinds of temperatures, particularly for 10 days at a time. And the reason that I bring this up today is because twofold. Number one, to put out our love and positive energy for the families and the people that are impacted and affected by this stress. Here's why. So much of the world is already in disruption. So much of the world already has a certain amount of chaos. And as human beings, we have a threshold. Now, part of our training in Gen is to buffer or to build that threshold so that the smaller things in life don't impact you as greatly and they don't create that adrenal response and don't put you into fear. We've developed the ability to stay in faith and to stay in trust. Yet so many people, A, don't have the training that you are so blessed to be exposed to. So that's the first thing. They don't have that training. And secondly, this is just another stressor. Maybe this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, as they say. Because so many people, as an example, I have some friends and some dear friends in Dallas, and I was speaking with them, and they lost electricity, and then they had the rolling blackouts, if you will. And what happened is that the electricity was off for 17 hours, which when it's below zero, as you know, that causes water to freeze, so the pipes froze, and so then they had broken pipes in the home, which if you've ever flown into Dallas, I often marvel at flying in over the number of homes and the residences that are, it's house after house after house after subdivision after subdivision after subdivision after sections of land. And all of them will fall into this same category. This isn't like when a storm hits and knocks out a couple of power poles or something happens to a home and you lose power. This is cities that have lost power. And the challenge that creates is that now they ask people to turn on their water to let it drip because the power is lost. And now that's created a water problem. They're talking about shutting off the water in Dallas, which is another stressor. And the point is to build your reserve. And the point is to look ahead. Maybe you could get a generator so that you could create some electricity. There are ways that you can build your base or build your foundation so that these particular stresses, things that are off the radar, things that are out of your control, when they come into play for you, don't have as much of an impact and you handle the impact better. This is part of the training. This is how we grow. This is what we do. This is who we are as a community. And we also are a community that cares about others. And we have brothers and sisters all over the world. And so let's send some of that Gen love and that Gen energy and warmth to them so that it will bring hope and they'll feel that. And here in Arkansas, as I was saying, we have over a foot of snow on the ground and it's very, very cold. And fortunately, we have prepared. Dr. Ted, I fortunately have a brother who has a passion about being on a tractor and being outside and doing things. And fortunately for me, he has a very loving component to him, and one that gives and one that volunteers. And so I heard a noise outside my home yesterday, and I live out, and it's pretty isolated, and so something was going on. I go out, and of course, there's Dr. Ted in his bliss. As a matter of fact, he was so blissful, I took a picture of it just to show you what he's like. Our very own Dr. Ted, teaching and training from stage, was teaching and training Mother Nature from his tractor. And as he was clearing my driveway, I went out and spoke with him, and he got me some more wood to bring up to the house for my stove. And he'd been to the neighbors' homes to clear some driveways because it's kind of hilly where we live. And it was his way of giving. You see, it is such a part to understand there are so many ways to give. There are ways where you can give time. There are ways in which you can give money. There are ways in which you can volunteer. There are ways in which you can do things for others unconditionally. You see, he didn't do those things expecting anything in return. He did that from an unconditional love standpoint. And when you do that, the universe gives back. When you do that, the universe gives back. It's how we talk about sending and receiving in this club, in your club. That's what we're about. You see, we have learned to be able to act on our training so that we can react when circumstances beyond your control occur. You see, we're different than the deer. The deer at my house this week have been a topic because they've literally been up on the porch. And the reality is, you see, they have to react. They couldn't act ahead of time to create their food source. And so they have been very graciously pruning all of my shrubbery. As a matter of fact, they have taken everything that is from about 40 inches down. Every leaf is gone. As a matter of fact, I took a picture to show you. This is holly. Now, you have to be really hungry. You have to be really, really hungry to eat holly. You know what it's like pruning it or stepping on it and those little prickly leaves? Well, imagine eating that. That's how cold it is and how hungry they are. They have to react to the environment. Our training teaches us to act. Our training teaches us to build a foundation, to come from a place of knowingness and knowledge so that we can move forward, so that we're not like others in the animal kingdom. We have the ability to think and to reason and to make decisions. And so many of us have, and so many of us are, and so many of us can find our bliss and deliver that unconditional love and that giving when it's necessary for others to receive. And so a shout out to my brother, Dr. Ted, fellow Gen member, and his giving this week. I will tell you that the reality is that while much of the nation is so cold, the hottest thing in the country right now happens to be the Global Information Network. And I will share with you that the response that we've had, the continued evaluations that are coming in as a result of our virtual Global Family Dream Weekend, the results of that and the impact of that are unprecedented. The numbers of new members that we have, the new joins, who people invited on as a guest or who people got excited about and brought it to front of mind, if you will, that consciousness has evolved into new members joining your club. And that consciousness has evolved into actually when we made an upgrade offer, when we created that opportunity. And I told you at the time, I relayed to you at the time that it was the largest, when we did that for Black Friday, it was the largest group of people that had ever upgraded. Well, we surpassed that. That's the growth that's happening inside this club. And that growth is happening for a number of reasons. Not the least of which is that it's naturally right. It's on the right path. And we have this chaos and pandemic and thing going on, which has driven more people to home, which has driven them more to their phones and their computers, which is where we happen to be able to disseminate our information. So that's one way in which we were ahead of the curve, if you will, things that we couldn't possibly have predicted, yet we had spent years, 10 years, 11 years, building that core, building that foundation, building that preparation, taking that action so that we could react when circumstances and situations changed. It's the beauty of the Success Mastery course. This is how it works. This is how it works for you. And if you'll allow it to work for you, we had the value of what happened. It's so amazing to me. The number of people that have been back on the website, because what we did, for those of you who you may have missed last Friday's update and not know this, but what we did is we made everyone that registered for that dream weekend, for that family dream weekend, for the virtual weekend, we made it available as an evergreen product for you. All you have to do is log into your account and you have access to every training from every person. All of that information you can review over and over and over again, and people are. And people will win because of that, because they'll see it again. Because here's what happens. There was so much data, so much information, so much sharing from members inside the club and new people that were presenting for the very first time to you as our club. They gave so much information that you begin to process it in your brain and you think about it. And while you're thinking about it, they said something else, and that will make this make more sense the next time you hear it, because now you own this, because that's how we learn. You see, it's a process of learning something and then acting on something and then growing as a result of that. So you learn and you act and you grow, and you learn and you act and you grow, and you be, do, and have, and you be, do, and have, and you repeat. It's like looking at a shampoo bottle or conditioner. You lather, you rinse, and repeat. You do it again, you do it over, and you do it over, and you do it over, and the next thing you know, you have accomplished what you set out to do. And that's what happens, and people become so passionate when they've done these upgrades, and the stories that you will hear if you have not done that. As a matter of fact, we even added the opportunity for those of you who were unable to join us on that particular weekend. Maybe you had other commitments. People have lives. We understand that. And so now we've made that available to you. You can purchase that at $147, and you have the complete access to everything that occurred, and you can watch it over and over and over and over again. So these are just ways in which the club can give you more information, can give you access to things that are proven to work. You will love it. It's amazing. It's amazing what can happen. And the reality of that is that so many people upgraded, and so many people are moving through this club because so many people acted on it, and so many people have grown. And a huge driving force in that whole upgrade conversation is to get to level 8. To get to level 8, to qualify for level 8. Well, the only way you can do that is to get to level 7. And the only way you can do that is get to level 6. And so it starts this whole migration that occurs. And for many of you, you're rapidly on that. For some of you, it may not be the right time, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Grow as fast as you can grow. Go at your pace. That's the beauty of this club. There's no pressure. No one's kicking you, and you're not. Maybe you have a sponsor or a family member who's dragging you a little bit, giving you a little spur, giving you a gentle nudge to say, "Hey, do that. Look what's happened since you did this." That's the beauty of moving up in this club, and the power of level 8 is unprecedented. It's never been done. Remember, we're going to 12. That's what's going to happen. Currently, we are at 7, moving to 8. And as we begin to move to 8, I was thinking about that today, and I had a recollection of during the delivery of level 7, I did a little research on what's the next step for people. What's the significance? What is the significance of the number 8? And I will share with you that the significance of level 8, of the number 8, of the frequency and the vibration of 8, is that it is about balance. It is about balance between the spiritual side of you and the materialistic side of you. How can you grow both? And how can you combine that? How can you utilize that to your very best so that you can become your very best you? That's not a coincidence. That's not an accident. That it is that balance that's happening at a time of spirituality and materialistic things that you have in your life. Because has there ever been a time where humanity is reevaluating that more than right now? Therefore, would there ever be a better time? We're still in the middle of some chaos and some disruption. And that's part of the plan. It's part of life. It's part of what happens in the universe. And we have a solution as we come out of that. All in good time. Level 8, the balance between spirituality and materialism. It also stands for, as you know, the level 8, if you turn on its side, it's like the infinity sign. And it stands for infinite energy and infinite love. Two cores of this very club. The energy of this club is palpable. You can feel it, you can touch it, you can taste it. It becomes part of you. You see that in the presentations that happened on our virtual event, when you get to look into the presenter's eyes and when they tell their story and they share with you how this has impacted their lives. This is who we are in the world of Jinn. So it's about that balance. It's about the infinity. It's a sign. I was researching it again today. It's the sign of compassion. It's a sign of self-confidence. It's a sign of self-discipline. Compassion, self-confidence, self-discipline, and most importantly, or as importantly, decisiveness. It's about making a decision. You're just a decision away. Just make one decision. Go as far as you can see and then go further. And then when you get there, you'll be able to see further and you can take another step. As we move in these steps in our progression of our growth through this club and through our lives and through our existence and through our physical being on this planet, this is how it is all interwoven and why level 8 is so critically important at this time. And it will be important for you even if you're not at level 8 yet at that time, because the club will grow and the club will have more balance and the club will send out more energy and more love. And when the club does that, it brings everyone the opportunity to come along. Those that this club fits for. It is a beautiful, glorious fit when it fits. So I encourage you to keep moving on that. There was even more. I was reading this and I started to get those goosebumps on your arms, the hair on the back of your head and your neck kind of stands up. And it's like, this is so perfect. It's such a perfect message for today. Thank you, universe, for downloading that. To give these analogies today, because it also talks about that when you allow the number 8 into your life, when you allow the number 8 into your life, it motivates you to become grateful for the things you have in your life. Listen to this. It motivates you to become thankful and grateful for the things you have in your life and to prepare you for the things that are coming toward you, for the positive things that are coming toward you. You couldn't script this any better. Because you don't have to, because it's being scripted for us from a great source. It's being scripted and laid out in a series, in a situation, in a circumstance, in a system of levels of training throughout the Success Mastery course that allows you to grow every week through the materials that we have, the archived materials we have on the website, to the materials that are released every single week, the new information, the new analogies, the new ways in which you can apply these things to your life, because Jinn is all around you. A weather change has Jinn principle in it. A reaction to that has principles in it. Clearing a driveway has Jinn principles in it. Being thankful and grateful for the fact that someone thought enough of you to invite you into this very club has Jinn principles in it. It's who we are. It is also the sign of creation and new beginnings. The sign of creation and new beginnings. How could we possibly better state that? We are creating something very, very special inside this club. And it is a new beginning for all of us, because we've never been there before, because it's never happened before. It's never been available to be laid out like this before. And to continue that momentum and to build on that momentum and to keep the energy ball of this club moving forward, we've scheduled a rally call for this Sunday, which is February the 21st. It'll be at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. The details are you can click on a button here. You'll be receiving an email about that as well, because it will allow you to be able to create your own you and to have a new beginning, to take the vision that we had in 2020 and move that through 2021 so that level 8 will occur in 2022. It's a perfect plan. It is a spectacular plan. And on this rally call, we're going to have a very special guest. We're going to have a very, very, very special guest. I would encourage you to be on the call. I would encourage you to listen in. Call in early. We had so many people that registered for the member-to-member movement that's happening to upgrade, to move people in through our system. Thank you, Heather Purdue. Thank you for the team. Thank you to all of the people that are a part of it. We had so many people register for that call that the call was overloaded. We had to actually ask some upper level members to step away from the call so some new people could get on the call. Well, since then, we've upgraded our service because that's who we are and that's what we do. We adjust and we take action. And so the next time we have the ability for more and more and more people to be on there. I invite you to be on that rally call, share in that energy, feel the energy. Call in a little early, say your name so people can hear that you're from all over the world. You can share your Gen brothers and sisters. We haven't been able to be together to hug and to shake hands, to be in that proximity of energy in some time. Yet it helps when you hear a name and you say, oh, I know them. Oh, I know them. Oh, that country. Oh, we are global. Oh, it reinforces everything that you've built since the moment you decided, since you made that decision, since you included decisiveness in your life and you joined this club. Dr. Ted and Blaine and I are so proud and honored that you made that decision and you stuck with that decision, and we're just getting started. I love your future. I really love your future, and I hope you have a spectacular week. I'll talk to you on Sunday. Until then, have a spectacular day. I'm Dr. Tom.